And welcome to Late Night Love. What was that about? You doing sweet nothings to our audience's ears right as we're starting?
No, I was whispering to you.
Oh, I have no idea what that hurt. I couldn't understand anything.
Okay.
So I have no idea what that was.
I was whispering, if you could let me know right before we go live, that'd be cool.
I did. You saw me hit the button.
Stop it.
You saw me get everything. You saw me hit that one. You saw me hit those two. What more clues do you need, woman?
I don't know.
All the red lights are turning on.
I don't know when you're going to do that. You can tell me ahead of time.
All the red lights are turning on.
It's about communication.
Yeah, when people start hitting record buttons on things.
And then we sit sometimes and talk.
No. Only if I screwed something up. That's the only time we sit and talk after I've hit the record button. That's record button means your camera's live. You're ready to go on even if you're not.
You just leave me to figure things out for myself.
How long have you been doing this? Some things at this point you shouldn't need to have anybody telling you that, oh, wow, buttons are being pressed. We're going live here. Especially that one up there. When I go clicking
I'm
that one.
going to start asking you.
Yeah, you're going to start getting sarcastic responses. Remember, I'm Gen X. We give sarcastic responses to everything.
No, that's just you.
Oh, no. Apparently it's a generational thing.
Is it really?
Yeah. Anyway, some nights life hands us a mirror and we didn't ask for. Well, a moment where we suddenly see the patterns we've been repeating, the choices we've been avoiding, or the feelings we've been swallowing because saying them out loud feels too risky.
There we go.
Tonight, we're stepping into that soft late night space where honesty feels less like a confrontation and more like a release.
Just now.
We're talking about the tug of war between frustration and growth.
There it is.
The ache of wanting connection and the courage it takes to admit what we really need from our job, our families, our partners, and ourselves. I'm just saying, take a little self-responsibility here. So settle in, let the world slow down for a moment. Whatever you're holding tonight, we're not holding it alone. Oh, you're not holding it alone. Yeah, we're not holding it alone.
We're not holding it alone over here either, obviously.
Clearly. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, all right. Before we start, you can do us a favor and send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to loveatlatenightLove.us. And you can find us at all past shows and us, our live show and etc. at latenightLove.us and all that good fun stuff. All right. So that was that.
Good.
I have no idea. I didn't have really an intro for tonight. So
okay.
An intro topic for tonight. So we can just kind of hop right in.
All right, good.
In our first segment tonight, it's all about the friction points, the places where our jobs, our ambitions, and our emotions grind against each other. We've got stories about job hopping when burnout hits, being pushed in departments with managers who drain the soul, the quiet folks who get labeled a problem, and the impossible task of managing someone who just won't grow. And just apparently, workplace baby showers are a real thing. God only knows why. Underneath all of this one, there is one question. How do we build a life that doesn't constantly ask us to abandon ourselves? If you're settling in with us tonight, hit that like and subscribe button so we know you are here. This is going to be one of those days. Anyway. Why did that go away? Okay. It doesn't have a timer. Oh, yes, it does. Hold on. This thing is being weird.
I'm not.
Oh, well, no, I'm being weird. I just keep hitting the buttons wrong.
There we go. There we go.
All right. But before we start here, I wanted to show something just for us to get a little, have a little start chat about.
Okay.
Have a conversation with my best employee and tell her you're not allowed to pick up the slack for your lazy coworkers. If you keep doing the work of everyone, I don't know who deserves to stay here. So you need to do your job, not other people's, so we can bring in people that are right for the jobs. Because while I believe in culture and everybody helping each other, I would rather have 10 A players all helping each other than one A player picking up the slack of 100 fucking C players.
But see, he's missing a point here. he's got someone who can tell him who's lazy and who just needs a hand, who needs help, who just got behind because stuff happens, right? He's got a person he can ask. He does know. His best employee knows exactly who needs to, right?
Yeah.
Who's the slackers are, and he didn't ask them.
Ah.
Said, hey, here's a small little bonus for helping out. Now, you need to do me a favor. Which one of these morons needs to go?
What if they're reluctant to do that?
That's what the bonus is for. You're paying them to do that. You're making it their job. They'll tell you. They get tired of picking up for lazy people too. They ain't gonna have no problem telling you. Now, the ones that'll have problem telling you are the ones who can do the job, but for whatever reason, going through a divorce, teenage son's going through a rough patch, whatever those kind of things. They'll happily pick up for those people and keep quiet because it's going to be a short-term thing.
Yeah.
Right? They're just helping them keep their head above water. So when they get their head back together, they're not drowned, right?
Yeah.
They don't mind that, which is fine. You should want them to do that. That's what teams working together do. It's the other people. They'll happily tell you who the lazy people are. I don't know a good A worker who won't tell their boss who the lazy person is if you're willing to listen. But what's this thing? No, don't help out the team so I can figure out who the lazy person is. I'm sitting right here. This isn't a secret. I can tell you. Sally, Bob, and Jane are great. Tim is useless. Ralph needs to go. And the other one, she's nice. What her name is, but she's just never here. I don't know. She could probably do the work if she'd show up. He'd be the one to tell. I'm just telling you. He missed a golden opportunity to empower his employees to actually help build the culture he needs. And instead, he wants to control everything. He needs to figure out who should go.
Okay.
Not his team, who actually knows already who needs to go, instead of just asking them. So that's my point. He missed
He missed a golden opportunity. Save time.
He knows exactly.
Energy.
He knows exactly who needs to go. He just needs to ask the right person.
Okay.
All right. What are we starting with tonight?
Well, this person. How do I stop job hopping every time I get frustrated and burnt out at work?
Well, okay. How long is this taking? Is this a 3-month thing, a 6-month thing, or a 5-year thing?
Like 2 years.
2 years isn't really job hopping, and it depends on the job.
Okay.
Right. If you're hopping from, assistant manager at Domino's to assistant manager at Pizza Hut to assistant manager at Chipotle, no one cares that you're changing jobs, right?
Yeah.
That's just changing jobs or some similar type thing, right?
Yeah.
Lowe's and Home Depot and Walmart. It doesn't matter where you're bouncing to. If you're just bouncing between those jobs, it's not what people are talking about when they consider job hopping.
Okay.
Those are corporate jobs. If you're not dealing with corporate jobs,
yeah,
you don't care.
Okay.
If you're dealing with a corporate job,
yeah,
it's a different story.
Okay.
So you have to figure out, if you're worried about your career, then it's a problem. If you're just trying to, earn some money so you can be left alone the rest of the time, then you don't really have to care. You apparently get jobs easy enough, so it doesn't matter all that much.
Okay.
And you're getting a nice, breadth of experience.
That's true. That's what I was thinking. That's a lot of experience.
But
and what about if he just hasn't found his spot?
Well, that could be true, but here's the thing. He may actually be more self-reflective here than we are being
Okay.
for him. He
Okay.
may realize the problem is him.
Okay.
The problem isn't the jobs. Says the problem is I get bored of it. He calls it frustrated.
Well, burnt out.
Yeah.
Frustrated and burnt out.
Yeah, well, that's another term for bored.
Bored. Okay.
You know, you're frustrated because you're no longer learning anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're burnt out because who doesn't get burnt out after a couple years of going to the same place every day and not really feeling like you're accomplishing anything?
Yeah.
So you could take a pay cut and go into nonprofits.
Yeah. There's a feeling of sense of purpose.
Yeah, and you could do that kind of thing, or
Yeah.
you could separate what you do to allow yourself to live and what you find where you find your self-worth. You go to a job to pay money so you can go off and do what makes you feel like a whole human being.
Okay.
There's another option there,
Yeah.
especially if it pays well. Right? This job allows me to go off and I get to go work in community theater and get to go off and be an actor in all kinds of goofy community films just because I get to, I don't get paid anything for things, but there's lots of people who do that. They work drudging jobs that they hate. So on weekends, they can go do things like the vagina monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those people are community actresses. They don't get paid. So these are the kind of things that if you feel the need to feel empowered, to feel like you're doing something, just go do something that you feel that empowers you. It doesn't have to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
You can separate those two parts of your life. I do this so I have money, so I can do something that fulfills me. Because what fulfills you may not be able to pay you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Our workplace baby showers really a thing? Yeah. Why can't you stop for an hour and celebrate, somebody that you spend 40 hours a week with?
Because I don't want to.
Eat the cake. Be quiet. Bring a pack of diapers. Be nice. She needs to know that she's got your support coming up because she's feeling very shaky right now.
I see this person for 10 minutes a day, maybe passing in a hallway, and I'm supposed to care.
Yeah.
They're a coworker, not a friend. Friend, I'm perfectly happy to fake it. But for a coworker, I'm not entirely sure I am.
You can't show up and eat cake.
I don't eat cake on my own birthday. No.
I make you an angel food cake.
Angel food cakes don't count. There's no like candles or frostings, or it's not really cake. It's like eating a donut. But my point.
You're complicated.
I don't even need. Yeah, they don't even give me birthday parties at work because I don't care. I'm really gonna buy me donuts. Put a candle on a Snickers bar. What are they gonna do? It's pointless. So don't even bother.
I'd be hurt.
That sounds like a personal problem. I'm just saying.
My birthday happens to land on a Sunday this year. Guess who's wearing a birthday girl shirt to church?
Sure. Why not? As if God needs to know.
No, my church family needs to know.
Okay. You gonna put lights and sirens on? Well,
ooh, my crown. My
uh,
tiara. My birthday girl tiara.
sometimes I regret the things that come out my mouth. All right, what's next?
And it's on Mother's Day. Okay. Wife doesn't want to relocate for job that I have received.
Okay, this is actually sadly a common problem, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's settled where they are, and one person gets a job depending upon the size of the job and where it is and all these things. Yeah. And does she have a job? Is she?
Yeah, she's got a job.
See, this becomes difficult, right?
Yeah. I don't think he should take it.
Well, it depends.
I mean, what are they going to live in separate cities?
You may have to for a little while.
Yeah, I guess so.
I did that for a little while when opened up a new factory in Fresno, and I lived in Fresno for a little while, so I could get them down to Fresno. But these things happen. People, take a job in Idaho or North Dakota to go work in the oil fields. They won't bring their families. They go live in a trailer, come home every 3 months. So, but it depends because that's, if they're making a couple $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
If his new job is $250,000 a year and she's making 35, guess who's moving? Whether she likes it or not, right?
Well, this comes down to in my opinion, that for better or worse, I mean, you really got to do what's best at the end of the day. You got to crunch the numbers and do what's best for the family.
Yeah. Again, now, oddly enough, the closer those numbers are, the more difficult the decision is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If she's making $50,000 and happy here, he's making, $60,000 and happy here. He can make 110 over there. That's got lower cost of living, but she don't have a job. It's kind of a wash, right?
Yeah.
Do you move? Don't you?
That's a tough decision.
That's a vast more difficult decision.
It is.
Then, all right, someone's going off to work in some oil fields here for a few years so he can make, a couple $100,000 in a couple years. And that's a different thing. All right, we're going to go suffer for a couple years, kids.
And then we're going to buy a house.
And then we're going to go live in Florida where it's warm all the time. Right? This is just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but those are also the people who can afford those trips to Disneyland. That's why. How do those people afford those trips? Because they're working in the oil fields in North Dakota where no one else wants to work. But so it really kind of depends who's on the career path versus who has a job.
Yeah.
Right? What's the economics like? What's the family life like? Is she just emotionally attached to where she is and that she can get over? One of those things. Sometimes you just don't want to move. Your mom's here and all that kind of stuff.
I know.
And it's hard to do that. But at the end of the day, it's best for the family, as difficult as it is. And sometimes it's not. So, as difficult as this is going to be, they're both going to have to kind of sit down and do the good old-fashioned crappy pros and cons list.
Yeah.
And kind of dispassionately take a look at it first.
Dispassionately.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to remove whatever emotional attachment to is at first.
Because we're talking about logic here.
Yep. Well, you get to add that emotion back in.
Well, later.
But
let's look at the facts.
Yeah. You're not going to discount your emotions completely. You're just going to take it out of the equation for now.
Yeah.
You're going to add them back in, but you want to be able to look at it dispassionately, at least for a little bit. Then add your emotions back in because you have to honor those. You can't ignore those.
Okay.
But that's my suggestion. As much as I hate doing pros and cons.
I know pros and con lists. Here we go.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
It's like the worst advice you can give somebody. But hey, guess what?
They work.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
There's occasions where I don't have a better answer. Okay, what's next?
I genuinely don't understand why being quiet at work is an issue.
Well, because sometimes your teammates need this thing that she was complaining about here at the start of the show, communication, even though it should be obvious. So sometimes
it's called courtesy.
Just saying. It'd be courtesy if you'd be paying attention to what's going on too.
Just so small thing out of your mouth. That's all it's going to cost
Anyway, okay,
you.
but that's why being quiet can be an issue.
Can be an issue.
Can't.
And on the other hand, nitpicking
Yeah, and
is
sometimes it's-
another one.
and sometimes it's just a cultural thing, right? You have a place that's used to people being chatty, and then you've got the
Yeah, and
then
then
you-
someone come in who is naturally, that's just who they are.
yeah, and you kind of, the square peg in the
Yeah,
round hole, or
yeah.
all the various stuff doesn't fit for whatever reason, and so there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you're the black sheep of the workplace because you're an introvert in a place full of extroverts.
Extroverts, yeah.
Yeah.
And really, haven't you been in this situation before?
Mhm.
I know I have.
So, learn to fake it a little bit better, but also, there's ways to demonstrate that your quiet observation technique has its place.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about being quiet is you get to listen. And, you get to hear things that others don't because they're too busy yapping. I'm just saying. Knowing things is a power. So, it's your advantage. Use it. Learn things.
Okay.
Yeah. If other people are talking and you're listening, you get to hear all the stuff that other people are saying about all the other people. Yeah. You get all the inside scoop because other people can't shut up. All right. Okay.
Struggling to manage a junior who isn't improving despite support. Well, maybe they just need a little more time.
Well, it depends. Are you giving them the proper support? Just because you're giving them support doesn't mean you're giving them the support that they need. And not everybody's cut out for every job. There is also that.
Okay.
So the question, I would have to ask what kind of job it is, so it'd be easier for me to kind of tell you. All right, well, because it's different. If you're trying to manage somebody who's managing people, well, then they have to learn. Usually, it's communication courses and things like that. Learn not to be arrogant, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
General. Send them to some management training. Seriously, But if they're just struggling to do the actual tasks of a job, they're not really managing other people. They're just a bookkeeper or whatever, and they can't put the numbers in the right columns or whatever. It's a different story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're actually giving them the kind of support they actually need.
Okay.
Because you might think you're giving them support, but you're not.
Okay. It's a different kind of support that they need than they need. It's what
they might,
what,
or
yeah.
they could be completely worthless, and you cut bait as soon as you reasonably can, right?
Oh my gosh.
Well, so they can move on to someplace they can be successful.
Well, yeah, okay.
You're not doing them any favors either.
Well, all right.
In that position where they're not just completely not suited for the job, you're not doing them any favors. You're wasting their time as much as they're wasting yours.
Okay.
Sure, it's sad that someone loses a job, but the reality is in 6 months they're going to lose it anyway, and now they've wasted 6 months of their life.
Okay.
So,
all right. But that's gotta be hard.
I'd say it was easy. Life stinks. Mother Nature's a cruel mistress, and it's just part of nature. It's part of the way things are. Sadly. But
living in the jungle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Utopia is a place that doesn't exist. That's the definition of utopia. So all this stuff where we want to live in a world where nothing bad ever happens to nobody, yes, the reason we call that utopia is because it doesn't exist and it never has and it never will. Because even if we did, we'd break it just for fun, just for something to do. Seriously, humans, if you had the perfect world, the perfect life where nothing ever broke, nothing ever went wrong, we would break something just for something to do out of sheer boredom.
Well, you got to take it apart to see how it works.
I'm just saying.
Then you got to put it back together again.
So
That never comes out. You always got 1 or 2 pieces left.
So find out what your coworker actually needs. Is he actually just worthless, or is your support not the right type of support he needs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this poor thing.
Okay.
Okay, he has a crush on his coworker, and it's
Yeah.
driving him insane.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Forget it. Let it go. Let it go.
Even though
Let
you are
it
young enough.
go. Let it go.
At 21, 22, you actually are old and young enough where you can take the risk, because one of you is generally probably not someone's manager or something.
Yeah.
You're probably coworkers at the same entry level positions.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually take the risk. It's not.
But think about it, man. Dating and being together all day at work.
Well,
I knew people who were married and did that, and it was just really interesting.
Well, you can work different shifts. You can go to a different store. There's all kinds of solutions to that if it becomes a problem.
Okay.
Right? Meeting someone you like is difficult enough in this.
Well, that's true.
In this cold, cruel world,
especially one that's receptive.
Yeah, if she's even half receptive, you got almost at 21, 22. Even if you lose the job, what do you care? You can get another Burger King job or wherever he's working, right? They're not working anywhere. Go down to Planet Fitness. They're always looking for somebody. Yeah. Take the risk. Why not? Especially if she's somewhat been receptive to the idea.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk about it. Be as polite as you can muster, right?
As polite, and I would say I don't quite know how to put this, but almost just very, are you interested? Not that, no pressure, no weirdness, no.
Do it like you think your grandpa did with your grandma.
There you go.
Not how they actually did. Do it like you think they would have.
You think
they would have. Not how they actually did.
No.
The reality is different than you think. But
just let it go. That brain bleach. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop right now.
Don't think any farther than that. But yeah. Think of some old movie. Be as polite as you can. And if she says no, you have to accept it. It'll be crushing, but it's part of nature. These are the ways you learn to deal with rejection. It's sad, but it happens.
Yeah.
But you're better off than you were before, because at least now you don't have a what would be.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
There's no what would have been. It's, well, I took my shot and didn't work, but at least I tried, and you get to move on.
There was this nice guy in the Army that I overlooked because I was too busy drinking and just being crazy. But he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
40 years later, I still think of him. Ryan.
There you go.
We never did anything. We had a drink together. That was it. And then I got drunk and went off with somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop drinking. Oh, wait.
So I did.
So.
No, just 37, almost 37 years ago. Yeah.
Hey.
Anyway, but what my point is, do you really want to have a what if, 40 years down the road?
Yeah. What's interesting is my TV show is as old as your sobriety.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it's over 36 years.
Wow.
I haven't been
Wow.
part of the TV show for 36 years. Let's be clear.
Yeah, yeah.
I've just been doing it for the last, what, 8?
8.
Yeah.
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 You're part of its history.
Yeah. We're an
That's
institution.
so cool.
We're a local institution.
Yeah.
Okay, what is next?
I'm being asked to move to another department with a terrible manager. Should I put my foot down and say no?
Well, probably, but
Yeah.
you might want to have a discussion with that manager that you think is terrible.
Okay.
You may not be as terrible as his reputation is. Sometimes people don't like a manager because they're demand accountability. And if you don't have a problem with accountability, you won't have a problem with the manager. So not all tough managers are terrible. Not all terrible managers are actually terrible. Yeah.
And really, what can you put up with? There was this one manager. I didn't really want to come under her, but I did. And because of this one reason, she was great except for one thing. She was like an older sister who could pick on you, but nobody else could. And she would pick on you. But it was just little neener things.
Well,
So I had to make a decision, and I decided for the money, for the promotion, I could put up with a little neener things every now and then.
yeah, well, you were an older sister.
I was an older sister. I knew how that went.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: you should interview for the other manager before you put your foot down. Yes or no. At least that way, you're coming across as at least open to it.
Yeah. Instead of just saying absolutely not.
And there may be a reason they're moving you over there because they need to replace that manager and they need someone who knows what they're doing first.
Yeah.
To get acclimated. So, but anyway, suss out what's really going on before you put your foot down one way or another.
Okay.
That's my suggestion because there's probably more than meets the eye to this thing.
Okay.
I have a suspicion.
Okay.
So if you're listening and thinking, I've been there, just know this: frustration isn't failure, burnout isn't weakness, and wanting something better for yourself is not a crime. You're allowed to choose a life that fits you, not the one that exhausts you. And as always, have a good night. Please remember to love everybody.
Good night.
Oh, keep it.
For the show, right?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm trying to decide when to play this one.
So this was my theory on life: was I have a partner I've been with for many years, and we get on great. And it struck me that not having kids was like, we didn't want kids, and it was living life with a cheat on the video game. This is super easy.
Why was it easy?
Because what I didn't realize, you think you have skin in the game, but you don't have skin in the game until you have kids, because it's a medical procedure where your heart now lives outside your body. You worry more about your mortality.
Is it a child raising thing or is it a family thing? I don't know.
Child.
Okay, so we'll start it with this one.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna do the intro.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And welcome back to Late Night Love. Tonight, love comes in all shapes: the tender, the confusing, the hilarious, and the deeply human. We've got parents trying to figure out what to buy an 18-year-old, money, teams navigating body image and school anxiety, partners feeling phased out by a cat with secret handshakes, and the quiet heartbreak of someone whose boyfriend stopped coming to bed. And woven through it all is the question every family eventually faces: how do we love people who are changing, including ourselves? And don't forget to subscribe if you want more late night honesty, comfort, and community. All right. So before we start all of that, let's remind our viewers that you can find us at latenightlove.us, and you can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightlove.us. There you go. We did the quick version of that one. Maybe if you can even understand what I said.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Totally. Completely. Maybe. All right. So we're going to start tonight with this. Jimmy Carr, a comedian from, just came across my feed the other day. He was having a conversation with Chris Williamson, I guess. Anyway, but he was talking about becoming or choosing to become a parent, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear what he's got.
So this was my theory on life was I have a partner I've been with for many, many years and we get on great. And it struck me that not having kids was like, we didn't want kids. And it was living life on with a cheat on the video game. This is super easy.
Why was it easy?
Because what I didn't realize, you think you have skin in the game, but you don't have skin in the game until you have kids, because it's a medical procedure where your heart now lives outside your body. You worry more about your mortality now you've got kids, because it's, what's the worst that could happen? You could die. Well, now it's much worse. There might be a saying goodbye. So I think I thought I was living life on easy settings, and actually I was playing at a very low stakes table, and now I feel like I'm playing in a higher stakes table, and it's very joyful.
I like that he ended that with pointing out that it's actually quite joyful.
It is.
While it's higher stakes,
Mm-hmm.
the stresses are more. Of course, is it more difficult? Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
life is as difficult as you make it, though.
Well, when you're taking another person's feelings, thoughts, needs, wants into consideration, then yeah, it is harder.
Yes, the decisions are more difficult
Yeah.
because you only have yourself to consider. Even if you're married,
Yeah.
realistically, you only really have to consider yourself. People do it all the time, but you got no choice when you take parenting seriously,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're no longer the most important thing in your life. Your partner is no longer the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
Like you said, your heart's now walking around in the universe doing their own thing,
Uh-huh.
existing in their own life. And you don't even really know where it is at any given moment. After a certain point of time, you're 50, your kids are 30s, they're
Yeah.
off doing their thing. So, but yet, somehow it's joyful. So, anyway, I just wanted to lead with that.
I like that. He compares the two.
Yeah.
He doesn't just give an opinion.
Yeah, life. They didn't want kids because life was on easy mode, but apparently, at some point, they decided, well, wait a minute, we're cheating. I'm not sure I would have gotten to that, but maybe I started having kids at a young age. So
I was 19.
19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So
Teenager.
but I still would prefer to. I wouldn't want to have it any later.
It took all I had. And I was still wiped out.
Do I want to? Could I imagine starting my family at 30? No,
No.
I don't have the energy for that. So, anyway, that's a tangent. All right, what do we've got night, my love.
What do you buy your child for their 18th birthday? If you're not, you know what they really want? They want a car. Okay. And if you can't swing that, money.
Just give them money.
Give them money.
I mean, unless you know there's something that they either wouldn't buy themselves, if they're a relatively responsible child, right? And there's something they wouldn't buy themselves, even if you gave them money, then you can buy that. But you would know what that is. Right?
Yeah.
You know, RAM is really expensive. So despite the fact that they need new RAM for their computer, they're not going to do it. And so you buy them, you overextend and buy them some RAM for their computer, because even if you gave them the money for it, they wouldn't spend it because it's outrageously overly expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, or something like that, you would actually buy them the thing.
Yeah.
But in most cases, just give them the money for it. It's their 18th birthday. Let them go spend it.
Yeah.
Let them go waste it, because that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Let them waste it.
Let it do your own. I mean, come on. You know, this is the marking of this is a rite of passage. You know, really, your 18th birthday.
And depending how much money, how big the present is and how big your budget was for them, maybe you give them a quarter, half of it now, and in a month you give them the second half so they can waste it.
Done.
Let them waste part of it, and then here's the second half. Why you only give me? Because I didn't want you to waste all of it. What? I would have wasted all of it at 18, so I figured, hey, there's nothing wrong with doing things like that. You can still be a parent at 18. So it's an option, especially if you're going big on their gift. If you're giving them $1,000 or something, give them a couple $100, $250 on their birthday. Here, happy birthday. They'll be all right. And then, a month later, when they've done blowing all their birthday monies and stuff, give them the rest. You're talking about giving them cars.
I'm just thinking of my girlfriend in high school. She turned 18 and her parents got her a car.
Well, yes. Okay. This happened when we were kids, but we got cars with salvage titles that someone put back together in their backyard.
It was a secondhand car. Yeah.
Well, yeah. We don't even get secondhand cars when we were, we got fourth or fifth hand cars that sometimes they were, two cars welded together to make one. But they drove straight, so that's all that mattered. All right.
Okay. Her daughter, she's 14, always feels sick at school, and she knows it's social.
Yeah, she's dealing with anxiety, so she's essentially in fight or flight mode all the time.
Yeah.
And so she's fighting that, and that's exhausting. And yeah, you're gonna feel sick because you're also getting adrenaline dumps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your solutions? Find her a smaller school.
Yeah.
Is your best long-term solution.
Long term, yeah.
Is to get her smaller school environments. Short term, I suppose anti-anxiety medications. I just really dislike that at 14. Not saying that some don't need it. It's just anything that messes with how things work at that age when things are changing. I'm just reluctant to suggest. So they help the ones that can help. I'm just worried. But something to discuss, I suppose, if it's a actual issue, if it's a huge issue, and maybe they don't have an option for a smaller school. Learning pods are a big thing. See if there's learning pods in your neighborhood, so she can get to know the same 6 or 8 kids. And
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and they're all different ages. It's kind of like the old ones. It's going back to the old schoolhouse. One schoolhouse where 8 to 10 kids go into schoolhouse are all various different ages, and they got a teacher.
Yeah,
who teaches them. They're kind of going back to that.
Ooh.
So you've got kids, 10 to 18. Well, maybe not 18, but 10 to 15, 16, whatever it is. Maybe even younger, but in learning pods, different learning pods have different things. But yeah, so maybe look for a learning pod.
I like that.
But if you have to, I mean, see a doctor or get it actually the anxiety diagnosed, because the one thing, even if you don't go a medicated route, just knowing that, hey, I'm dealing with an anxiety issue and it's
Yeah.
not just me being crazy,
Yeah,
right?
that helps.
That helps. Because here's what happens a lot of times. They think everybody else is the same way and they just can't deal with it. When it's not true, everybody else doesn't experience the world the way they do. And so them understanding that is important to them, learning how to manage it.
Okay.
So
That's right. You've said that before. You thought everybody was like this. They just did better with it.
right. I just couldn't cope with everybody's this way. Why? I'm not different than anybody else. Why would I be different than anybody else?
Yeah.
But I interpret the world differently than everybody else.
Yeah.
And my nervous system technically interprets the world differently than everybody else. But you can learn to manage that. But you can't learn to manage it until you understand it. So you have the opportunity to help her understand it. Okay.
Okay. This one. My girlfriend and my cat have a secret handshake and I'm being phased out. Will you stop at your 30? Okay. Now, this is not a child, And now here's an idea. Now, the cat has decided to bond with your girlfriend. Okay. And now, if you want a secret handshake, you need to, or a little trick or something that y'all do together with the cat, you have to teach it.
Okay. Let's just be clear
And
here.
have treats involved. That's how you do it.
You're jealous of a cat.
I know. I started that off.
Let's be clear.
And then I tried to address his emotions.
No, I'm not addressing your emotions. I'm not going to validate them. That's moronic. You're being stupid. Think about it. Go stab yourself in the mirror and going, I am jealous of my cat's and girlfriend's relationship. Say that to yourself 10 times in the mirror. See how you feel. Just try it. Go ahead. Come on. I'll wait. Let's see if you get to 10. Shut up and go give your girlfriend a glass of wine. Good God. All right. What's next?
Swimsuits for 13-year-old girls. Okay. I came up with the perfect solution. I don't know how it just came to me out of the blue. My daughter was in high school, and she just was very body conscious, and she came to me and she said, Mom, I don't want to dress for the pool and wear a swimsuit because all the boys are going to be looking and staring, so I'm like, okay, we're good. And it just came to me, and I said, well, let's buy the boy swim shorts. So we went out and we got Spider-Man swim shorts that came down to just below the knee or just above the knee, that in the boys section. And she got a long tank shirt, that she wore with a sports bra underneath. So I mean, she was well covered. It really just her arms and her calves were showing, So she felt a little more secure, and she had fun in the class. So that is my tip for swimsuits for 13-year-old girls who are very body conscious.
There you go. All right. What's next?
Okay. My 15-year-old daughter isn't eating enough. Now, she's not anorexic.
Uh-huh.
She eats a normal meal,
Okay.
but she's athletic.
So
And her mother says she's not eating enough.
your daughter's eating as much as she needs to eat. She's not a prime athlete here. She's a 15-year-old girl. If she needs more food, she'll eat more food.
If you really want to do something, do a little research and find out what is the boost that she needs right after. Does she need protein? Does she need carbs? And provide that after she comes back from the gym. Here's some muffins for some carbs.
Here's the dirty little hint. She don't care that her
protein
daughter
shake.
doesn't care that much. Stop.
She is trying to set her daughter up for good habits of a lifetime.
Her daughter doesn't.
She's being supportive.
No, she's not. She's taking over.
No, she's not.
Her daughter
She's
just wants
being
to,
additional.
Her daughter just wants to go have fun. If her daughter wanted to micromanage her diet, her daughter would ask for help micromanaging her diet because she wants to be an athlete and wants to go to college and play in the NCAAs or whatever it is. No, she just wants to go have fun with her friends. She don't care about all this. And her mother wants her to. Leave her alone.
Why? I think a little snack, giving her a little snack is not an issue. Why is it? That's a very mom thing to do to a 15-year-old daughter. It's very normal. Stop it.
It's a very mom thing to want to do, but leave your daughter alone.
Give her a snack. What's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
She don't want one.
Stop it. So leave it for later.
So now you're gonna give her a food issue, trying to shove food down their throat that she don't want.
Not shoving food, just making it an option. Just like when she was 5. So stop it. It's a very mom thing to do.
Yes, it is a very mom.
There
thing
you
to
go.
do. It doesn't mean you should.
It's nurturing.
It could be considered controlling.
No, you consider it controlling.
Because she wanted to be a top athlete, she'd be asking for help. She'd be asking you to do all these
Not
things.
necessarily.
She'd be motivated. No, that's the top athletes don't need their mothers motivating them.
She's not micromanaging. She's giving a snack.
She's
teaching healthy habits.
No, she just told me she's eating perfectly normal meals, right? Perfectly normal, healthy meals.
Yeah.
So
why can't she?
She already has healthy habits.
Okay, no, we're going in a loop.
She wants you want her to have habits for a top prime athlete. Maybe her daughter doesn't want to.
It's not a top prime athlete to have a snack after
your daughter isn't
doing a physical thing.
She ain't talking about snack. And you sat here and said about do research on finding what kind of proteins to give her. That's not snacks.
No, I said do research on finding out what kind of snack would be good.
You know what?
After, because I don't know.
You know what a snack?
I didn't have an athletic child. So what kind of snack would be best? Is it you want to give her some almonds?
I don't think this child is actually athletic.
A bowl of almonds, just available for her to snack on.
Playing volleyball after school ain't athletic. Doesn't mean she needs extra special diet.
I happen to know a 10-year-old who's athletic, and she eats my bread after her events.
Yeah.
Carb up.
Then she'd want it. That's my point. I'm just saying.
She doesn't know she wants it.
No. She's 15. She knows exactly what she wants. Anyway, we've gone way off the rails. All right. What is next?
My boyfriend stopped coming to bed with me. So he stays up and he just putters around. He has a snack. He gets ready for bed. She's like, okay, I'm getting ready for bed. And then he used to come get ready for bed and get into bed with her.
Okay.
But now he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's a change. We don't like it. We're in bed alone.
Yeah.
I remember when this happened to me. And it was devastating. They wanted time alone. It never occurred to me, maybe I should value my time alone then.
It never occurred to you that he just doesn't want to sit there for 2 hours staring at the ceiling while you're sleeping? Never occurred to you that's right? Just puttering around, just him waiting till he's going to go fall asleep.
Well, I figured that out after 40 years. But,
Well, and I have anxiety. I mean, anxiety. I had insomnia for a long time, right? So,
mhm,
so you learn from insomnia is you don't go to bed until you're ready to go to sleep.
mhm.
So, right, this notion of, wait, if I'm not going to fall asleep, I can't just go lay down in bed. Not if I'm going to sleep, because that triggers it's an insomnia trigger laying in bed for more than 20 minutes,
Yeah.
half an hour.
Yeah.
So then you start thinking about, can I fall asleep? And then you're never going to fall asleep. So the minute you start thinking about, can I fall asleep? You're never going to fall asleep.
That used to be an issue for me.
So
But now that I'm a morning person,
I don't even know if this counts as a morning person.
midnight is morning. It's AM.
I'm not sure what this is, but it's not morning. Okay. What is that? Did we even answer the question?
Stop coming to bed. I did.
Yeah, it's just an adjustment. It is an adjustment period.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. And schedules change with people over time as well. So, right. Perfect example next to me. So, all right.
Okay. Autism evaluation at 18. Now, they just really it's very mild, if it's anything. They had some issues that they helped him with. They were able to work around his certain issues, sensory things like that, right? They worked
Okay.
around it all through his life, and they never had him evaluated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's getting ready to go to work. He's starting to have issues, and they're wondering for future if they shouldn't get him evaluated.
Well, the question about getting evaluated is it going to make a difference?
Mm.
Is there a actual reason for it, or are you just going to assume that he sits somewhere on the spectrum? Probably what they used to call Asperger's, right?
Yeah.
People who are functional but highly socially awkward. They can learn to function in the world, but they're just always going to be socially awkward.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Asperger's what they used to call Asperger's. And so, essentially, like the anxiety disorder, yes, it helps to know, because once you understand it, you can actually learn to manage it.
Mhm.
So, but in a sense, you've already been doing that. You already kind of know, so you've been treating it that way. But on this other part is maybe you get access to some resources and some training that he didn't already have access to.
Yeah.
Depends where you're at and what he needs, what he's willing to take on. But
They do have some occupational things available, and that's what they're thinking about.
I also want to point out that at 18, almost everybody I know had trouble at jobs.
Okay.
So it might just be perfectly normal 18-year-old having their first job and they're stuck at it because they're 18 and it's their first job or two and they're bad at it. It's just, they've never really mopped a floor before and they get handed a mop and a thing and, hey, go mop the floor. I don't know how to mop a floor. I mean, they've mopped their mom's kitchen floor, but it's a vastly different thing as
Mhm.
you suddenly find out. You don't have this nice little neat sponge and a little. No, this is a mop bucket and chemicals and the squeezer thing. What? I don't understand how all this works. How much water do you use? First time they end up flooding the floor because it happens every time. So the trouble he's having at work may not be anything out of the ordinary. So do think of that. You may be overthinking the issues he's struggling with. It may be perfectly normal 18-year-olds struggling at work because they're 18 and struggling at work. It's another. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Love isn't static. It shifts, it stretches, and it surprises us. And sometimes the most loving things we can do is simply stay curious about our kids, about our partners, and the parts of ourselves that we're still learning to understand. Subscribe for more warm, late night conversations every week. Have a good night. Please remember to love everybody.
No, I never drink a whole one. I never finish.
Uh-huh.
I end up having it in my glass and having to force drink it, and I don't want to do that.
So it's in your
It's in the can. I'll put it in the refrigerator, and I'll have it later. I don't waste beer. I'm a good alcoholic. That's just immoral. It's against my fiber of my being. I just can't.
That's
you
not
know.
actual beer.
I know it's non-alcoholic beer, but it's beer nonetheless.
It's near beer. It's on the beerish spectrum, I suppose. All right, let's
It's
get
fake beer.
let's get. And welcome back to whatever this is. This is Late Night Love. This is me. That's Lubby. I don't know what the hell is tonight is gone. Tonight's relationship stories take us to the deeper waters. Irritations we don't know how to name. Friends slipping away into healthy dynamics. The sting of finding flirty messages and the awkwardness of discovering old photos of an ex. We're also talking about how to express the physical affection, how to navigate mismatched desires, and how long-distance couples can stay connected without losing themselves. At the heart of every story is one truth. Relationships don't fall apart from conflict. They fall apart from silence. So drop your story in the comments. You never know who it might help. All right. But before we do all that, you can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightLove.us. There we go. All that at once and very good things. Let's just jump right into Night Love because whatever kind of chaos can we cause?
How do I change feeling so irritated at my partner? I got news for you. You know, you ain't such a peach yourself, mister. You know? That's the conclusion I came to when I was trying to figure out, you know, some things. Endearing things after a while, they start grinding on you. They turn into irritations, you know, they can. And you know, lo and behold, I got some irritations about you, some things that you do. Yeah, I know. And you know, I'm like, should I say something? And I'm like, Christina, there may be one or two things that you do that he is irritated with, and he doesn't say a blessed word. So you just shut up and just take a deep breath and leave the room. You know, just out of sight, out of mind for the moment. You know, come on.
Okay. Would it be wrong for me to mention, you know, maybe throw marshmallows at them? It can't hurt, but you might feel better.
When you used to make me mad, I used to throw tissues at you, remember?
Yeah. Well, you know, makes you feel better.
It does.
So,
You get a little bit of energy out. You know?
oh, a little bit. It's like slamming down the phone in the old days, right? You can't do that these days.
I know. You'll break your phone.
Because you'll break your phone. But man, you could really slam those old ones and they'd be just fine.
I know.
Anyway. I guess the real question is figure out why you're actually irritated, because normally the things that irritate you aren't actually what's irritating you. Now, sometimes they are, right? Sometimes they leave cabinets open and it's just they leave cabinets open and you simply have to decide.
Just shut them. Thank you. That's one of mine.
If you just have to decide, it's just easier, right? It's actually less irritable if you just close the cabinets, right? it's less time and energy out your day to just, and whatever.
And here's a thought. Here's a thought that I had. Do I want to have every little thing that I do that's irritating pointed out to me? Do I want to live like that on eggshells? You know,
Oh, you want the list?
do I want you to live on eggshells? I've lived like that. I've been in a relationship like that. It's no fun. It's awful as hell. I don't want to put anybody through that. I don't want to go through that. So let's just
you want the list?
calm down.
I could probably get the list off the top of my head if you
Stop
want.
it. No.
Stop
Okay, you get one thing.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I have no real need. That right there is how you get over being irritated. You just choose to not be irritated.
Yeah, you choose.
I know it sounds simplistic, right? It sounds like, well, that can't be that easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that's how you do it. You just choose to no longer be irritated by these things. And here's the thing. It's not that they don't irritate you in a flash in a second, right? It's not that you go in, you see whatever it is that irritates you and you go, it's just you lose the irritation 10 seconds later when your job's doing something else.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's not that you
irritations are momentary. Let's and I mean, what is it really all about? You want them to change for you?
Yeah, pick and choose your battles, my friend. In the grand scheme of things, is that irritant worth, turning into a scar? Think about that. Is it worth picking at and turning into a scar?
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right. Okay, what's next?
Losing my friend to a manipulative girlfriend. Can I do anything?
No.
No.
Usually no. I mean, you can try, but generally speaking, it depends on the type of manipulation and what we're talking about here. I mean, because sometimes you can point out to them what is actually happening, and
it's basically his time.
That's not manipulation. She just wants to spend time with him, and you're viewing it as manipulation because you are frankly jealous that your friend is now going off, and in a sense, you are being replaced.
That hurts.
It does. But here's the thing. When the newness rubs off, he's going to need you to, come back and be the friend you used to be.
And talk to you about how she's starting to irritate him.
May, it's not what happens with men. You're just going to come back and you just pick up where you left off. Like there was.
Like nothing happened. Like it was a timeout.
Not even a time. It's just go, right? That's what men do. This is perfectly natural. This is a perfectly natural thing of relationships. Men have been going through this type of thing. You've got close bonds, and then one of them gets in their first, relationship, real genuine, genuine relationship, and so now all the time you used to spend with your bromance buddy is now spent with your real romance person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at some point, you need to have that external relationship as well. It's just newness takes a lot of time, but it's never going to truly be the same. But you can still go golfing. You can still find those things together, bowling. You can still do your things. It's just not going to be you're going to be more selective.
It will.
Yeah. You're going to, all the riff-raff, fluff stuff is going to go away.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to either find someone else to fill that time with, which hopefully maybe you can focus on finding a relationship for yourself. Maybe it's been too easy to not focus on getting a relationship because you've had your best friend to lean on. Now here's the real thing he's facing. He's not really jealous. He's just now he has to face the fact that he doesn't have much of a life outside of his friend. Now he's actually facing being alone. Yeah. But you're not. If you need him, he'd be there.
He would.
Okay.
I found a flirty DM on my partner's Instagram, and I don't know what to do. What is your advice?
Well, it depends on the flirty DM because us as men, we get all kinds of bot flirty DMs on Instagrams. And
No, I
Facebook.
read it. It was like, oh, you should come over and we'll do the wild thing. Oh, stop. You shouldn't say things like that. I know. I'm just being silly. Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
That was flirty.
Well, it was, I guess. It was an attempt at flirty. Didn't work out very well. So what are you worried about here? I'm just you actually what you saw is evidence you don't have to worry about anything,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
And she's upset.
Yeah.
She should be relieved.
Someone flirted with her husband.
Well, that should make you feel better. It means he's desirous for other people.
That's what I always. I find you attractive. So you're a Greek god laying there at night. So actually I think other women, and you're a sweetheart. See, you're just so nice and kind. So yeah, other women are going to be attracted to you in your life. You are oblivious, but it's there.
Yeah.
You're completely oblivious.
I've always been oblivious, so it is what it is.
I had to actually tell you, I think I'm falling in love with you. I actually had to say that to you.
Well, I told you I needed like a signs and a written notice. It's not like I was kidding.
I was getting out of the shower and you were standing there. We were showering.
I'm just saying.
And I had to actually, and we were at that point. We were that close, and I still had to tell you.
I'm just saying, I told you I needed signs, like written signs for these kind of things. I needed to be obvious, right? I wasn't playing. You always think I'm exaggerating or something for effect or something. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you how it is. This has caused confusion in the past. I'm clearing this up right now. I am oblivious to these kind of things. I need to be told.
So I did.
I don't understand why it was so complicated. People say, oh, you need to communicate your needs. I communicated my needs. That was somehow a problem.
And yet, still, people just invalidate you.
I understand. It's not my problem. All right. What is next? Oh, my advice is to do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your relationship is sound, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Accidentally found an old USB with pics of his ex. Not sure if I should address it or let it go.
Well, I'd probably let it go, but you could be petty and just throw it away.
Ooh, no. He's saving them for when he's an old man.
No, he probably forgot about him.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Oh.
You'd never know. Yeah, he probably forgot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to find those one day. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, you could be petty and throw them away, or you could just leave them and leave it as it is.
He's an ex. She's an ex.
Yeah.
Exes are for
now, of course, here's the question: where did you find it? Was it like in the back of the bottom of some junk drawer or some drawer?
Yeah.
Yeah. He forgot about it. It probably doesn't even know it's there. If you really wanted to scare him, you could bring it up. If you just wanted to mess with him, like it was April 1st, wait around until next year. It could be a great April Fool's joke for next year. If you really wanted to think ahead.
That's cruel.
Yeah. Still be funny, at least for her. She can have some fun with that. She wanted to.
She wanted
to. Just for fun, right? If you want to be petty, you throw it away.
Okay.
If you're funsies, my suggestion is to just leave it and do nothing. But you can be petty and throw it away. I wouldn't really have a huge problem with it because he's likely forgotten about it, and so You never know. Right? Okay. But if you want to have some fun with it, you wait till an opportune day. April Fool's is a good one because then
That isn't my idea of fun.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Mm.
Have some fun with it. But all right. There's our example. Either be petty or not. How's
There
that?
you go. There you go.
All right.
Now, these are next are a little more intimate.
Okay.
Okay. How to tell my boyfriend I just want to make out. They're in their early 20s. Sometimes she just wants a make out session.
Uh-huh.
How to and not take it any further.
Okay.
How can she tell him?
Well, you can tell him all he wants, but he's fighting nature. And at 20 something, you're not very good at it.
Mm.
They're asking him to fight, right?
Eons of evolution. But we want you to do it for us.
Yeah. But what you guys don't understand is you're fighting literally everything plus hormones. Your body, evolution, hormones, everything is telling you to do the opposite. And in fact, you're actually sending the exact messages that you get when you want to do the opposite. You have to understand that it's confusing, biologically speaking.
Biologically, yeah.
Yeah.
That you can logically understand. We just want the emotions.
We can logically understand it. It doesn't mean we're capable of pulling it off.
This is why I like to date older men. When
Even older men aren't
when I was
capable.
younger,
Not necessarily
You know,
capable of pulling it off
30,
either.
30, I was 18, they were 30. They were a little, they could handle it a little more.
So you can tell him all he wants, but it's the definition of mixed signal.
Yeah.
So, success is the success. Maybe the honor should be in the attempt, not in the success of the because his body's going to react whether he wants it to or not.
No, you have to be aware of that. That's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't complain that happened. That's just going to happen.
That's good. You can't complain about it. No, you cannot. No.
Because it just is. Because you're literally sending all the signals.
Yeah.
That tell that to say, "Hey, hello, fly, wake up." Can't tell it to wake up. Now you can say you don't get to do anything about it, but So. Anyway, that's just understand that it's difficult. How's that? And actually express that you understand that it's difficult. Honor the difficulty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Struggling with an unwanted kink that doesn't align with my relationship. He's in love with her.
Okay.
And she's very sweet, loving.
Okay.
She is very maternal. He's like, he's at the age, they're at the age too, where marriage, children, here we go. And he sees her in that image.
Okay.
But his kink is to be, a little forceful.
Well,
and he just can't bring himself to do it with her.
That's actually a good thing. That means you get to drop your whatever. Here's the thing. Your kink was covering up some trauma that you actually haven't dealt with yet.
Mm.
Don't know what it is. I'm not going to guess. Right? It could be anything. It doesn't even necessarily have to be related, right? These things go haywire all the time.
Mhm.
The smallest of things. His dog could have died and it somehow ends up this way. You know, it's just, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where you get to decide that your kink isn't what defines who you are.
Yeah.
You know, that thing you like to do because it's entertaining is no longer what drives your life. It should never have been what drives your life in the first place. But now you have found something to replace it, something that is actually more fulfilling, not this empty thing that, you know, cool for a couple hours, but then you got to go chase it again. You don't have to chase a family. You don't have to chase stability. It's there. These things become less important because were never important to begin with. That's what you're going to learn. Now, changing the habit is going to be hard
Yeah.
because you've got a thought habit to change. That's going to be difficult. The nice part is you already don't want to do that because you understand how dangerous that is in a relationship.
Yeah.
Power dynamics in a relationship are difficult at best. And they're best left behind, frankly.
What is that thing when I was a child? I did childish things, but when I grew up, I set them aside.
Well, also, there's the other one, you know, childishness comes as natural to a man as it does to a
That's
child.
one. So you got some issues there. You got to,
So
it's ongoing.
it's an
It's
ongoing
a
thing.
struggle. Yeah.
We didn't say it was easy.
But I had a similar struggle, you know, and it was just my new life that I took on was more satisfying than letting go of any entertainment. That it was hollow. I found out it was hollow.
Well, because it was entertainment,
Yeah.
which is fine when you need to be entertained,
Yeah.
right? But you no longer need to be entertained.
Yeah.
You need something more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, last question. How to navigate sexual urges in a long distance relationship?
Same way you navigate sexual urges when you don't have a partner. You just navigate them.
Yeah.
You navigate them by yourself. That's why you navigate those things. I mean, in the modern world, I suppose there's a few options, I guess. Not ideal.
I mean, they do video and
Yeah.
stuff. They're okay for now, but it's when he gets around other women, and I mean, the pheromones start, you know, and the perfume, you know, and he just,
Don't go hang out around women. Do a lot of bowling,
read
golf.
male oriented.
Just saying.
Don't go to bars.
And it's one of those things, right? It's again, you're fighting hormones and nature and whatnot, but you also understand that the long-term benefits of a stable relationship are more important than the short-term benefits of entertainment.
Exactly.
And so you navigate those urges by, avoiding the places where they occur. Yeah, no more trips to the club.
Yeah.
Why are you going to the club anyway? Whatever it is. Now, here's the thing. If you're talking about the urges of, you're walking down the street and an attractive woman walks by and happens to be wearing the perfume that hits your particular nose style, and you happen to notice, well, you have to deal with those all the time, every day anyway. So just suck it up, buttercup, and deal with it like the rest of us do. Quit whining. You're just feeling alone. I get it. Save it for a plane ticket, whatever it is.
There you go.
Go Go fly out, have a good fun hours, and fly back. It's people have done it for less.
Definitely.
People-
They have.
People have.
I
done,
have.
People have done more for less.
I have.
People have flown across the country for the maybe.
On a maybe.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about like during the gold rush of the Old West. They got a letter. They had letters. They never met. They never saw each other. But it was like, yeah, I'll come and have your children. Huzzah.
Yeah. So
Build me a house. You got acreage, I'm coming.
So this is one of these things where I hate to be almost flippant about it, but you just have to learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
And go bowling a lot, pick up a hobby, do things that occupy
Increase your video time with her.
Play more video games, whatever it is you've got to do to.
Because I'll tell you, this is going to happen in a relation, this happens in regular relationships too, dear. And you bring it home.
But this
you get urges and you bring it home. That's what you do.
This is one of these things you've decided is when you decided on a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
This is one of those things you decided you had to navigate. And how do you navigate them? The same way you navigate anything else you've never been. You just do.
Yeah. Try different shit. See what works.
Some days are better, easier than others.
Yeah.
And you get better at it over time. But you just navigate it.
Yeah.
You're Columbus. You don't really know where you're going, but it's all good.
Because it's out there.
Because you just keep doing the best you can. And
Yeah.
the next thing you know, your scheduled date with your your partner is there. And so schedule more of those. Spend less money so you have more money to take the trip out so you can,
do your thing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If something in your relationship feels tender, complicated, or unspoken, that doesn't make you broken, it makes you human. And every honest conversation is a step toward connection, not away from it. If tonight's episodes touched something in you, share it with someone who might need it. Anyway, from me and Lovey, never mind. From me and Lovey, have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.